Welcome all for attending this webinar. This is a first for us and a first for me, so please bear with me. Again, if you have any questions, you can submit them at the end or during in the Q&A box. And we'll be keeping you anonymous, so ask any questions and we'll be able to answer it for you. Let's go on with where we're going to go next is our agenda and what we're going to be talking about. We have a lot of different subjects we're going to cover quickly. Most of them are going to be job safety, history of the clamshells, how they came to be, the new TRIMAX system, and how they were designed with safety in mind, and the way they're built on a stable platform, the benefits that you get. We're going to push out a real quick poll here, and we'd like to get a little information from you, find out what kind of industries we're involved in. You could take a second and just click that. It would be helpful for us to understand what markets we're working into. I appreciate if anybody could help there. All right. Move on to see where we're at. Well, we've got educational and oil and gas. And thank you for providing that little bit of information for us. Safety. TriTool, we take everything seriously about safety. It's the most important thing about our product line. It's part of who we are and what we do. It's part of our core values of the company, and we really strive hard to make sure that the machine is the safest it can be and that they're used safely and people are trained correctly. We start at the top with our leadership, and it works all the way down through the job site and everything that we do. It is part of our culture. This is something that we believe in. It is something that we have to stay competent in, is safety. We don't want any work-related injuries, and so it's one of the most important things with us. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about the history of clamshells. Clamshells have come about. We've been doing these machines for a little over 40 years. They've had lots of different designs, and each design has had its own issues. So what we're going to do is show you a quick video clip, and it's going to give you a little bit of history about each machine, and I'm going to talk about each machine as we're watching the video. The first machine is going to be the cam follower design. This machine had some relative issues. It was a good product. It was fairly stable, but it had some weaknesses in how the bearings were designed. They were subject to failure, cracking, and dirt and debris were an issue. It worked. It also had some safety issues with pinch points, but during that time frame, that's what we had. That's as good as we could do. The next series was the SB series, a very good series. It was a solid bearing. It was a sliding bearing. It didn't have any internal moving parts, but one of the drawbacks to that machine is that there was quite a bit of friction involved with the machine. There was a lot of loss of energy. About 40% of the energy coming out of the air motors was lost to just being able to overcome the friction in the bearings. Very solid, stable platform is still used today. It works very well. Can't go very well speed. The next series was the RBL series. It has a V roller bearing. It is a lighter weight machine. There's less bearings in it. You could go faster, but you didn't have the stability because it was a thinner cross section. It was a good platform. It has its inherent problems of stability and load carrying capacity. So, quick question for you all. Do you currently use clamshells in your business? Let us know. Wow, that's surprising. Everybody's using them. All right, so the new TRIMAX. Let's talk about TRIMAX. It's a game-changing machine. It's the newest thing out on the market. It's the safest thing we can put out there. It has patented recirculating bearings, and it does faster and heavier cuts. I'll show you a video that has a little bit of about it, and we'll go from there. This presentation was done to other customers, and this is by the designer, and he was talking to them about it. It shows here the recirculating bearing, the split line, and how it was put together. and how the machine was designed for safety so that the motor and everything was removed and moved to the back of the machine for the safety of the operator. Here you can see the design of the gear and the motors, everything behind it, good, solid, stable, high platform. So, things that are designed into the TRIMAX. No external feed brackets. That's the most important thing that we've got here. Easy to adjust position tool blocks. It's a stable platform because it has a L-shaped gear. It's capable of achieving much faster speeds. We can run this machine in excess of 60 RPM if we so choose, and it's stable. And the tool blocks can be moved easily. You don't have to take out the bolts to reposition them, and you can be anywhere in the positioning of the machine, tool blocks, because you don't have a bolt pattern to fit them back into. Okay, the machine was designed with safety in mind. It was, design concept was most important. Over the years, there have been issues with the machine and in this industry, so we decided to take away any possible injury situations. So now we have come up with this design, and it has been endorsed by the construction solutions within the CDC, which is a very big step for us. As you can see, that the machine has no external components. The machine motor is moved to the back. The tripper mechanism moved to the back so that there is no pinch points or a place for somebody to get hurt. Motors can be set up either right angle or in line with the pipe. Everything is moved to the back of the machine so we don't have any potential issues of injury. Very simple design. It's very stable. It's a great platform. So let's talk about some of the issues that have come up in the past with the older machines. So you have obstructions that are mounted to the OD of the machine in the past, the drive housings, tripper feed, the mounting screws. Those are all problem areas as the toolbox are traveling around. So I'm going to click over to the next slide here and show you the difference. There is no, on the TRIMAX, there is no protrusions. Again, go back and look at that. Old styles versus the new styles. So you can see that there is a great benefit of not having items attached to the OD of the machine anymore. It's safer. There's not any potential pinch points for the operation of the machine. All right. Built with a stable platform, the machine is designed so that it has a great mounting system. The locator pad systems that we've used in the past have had some instability because there's only been one screw. Now this has a stability shaft that's attached to it now, which stabilizes the locator foot, makes it so that it stays square and doesn't rack the machine if you get it out of square issues. So it does make for a very stable platform when doing the mounting. Makes it easier to square up. So that is one of the biggest improvements also in the mounting of the machines, is the fact that you have a nice stable mounting foot that holds the work for you and positions the machine very well. All right. Benefits. Benefits to the machine. There's something that we really need to talk about, and we're going to show you the different things within this. Toe clamps, no longer having to take out the bolts for the tool modules. Just loosen the tool clamp and you can move it up and down. It doesn't have to be in any incremental movements to allow the tool block to be positioned. It can be easily just slid in and out to adjust to whatever diameter pipe you're mounting on, and allows for clearance. Some of the other things that we're going to be talking about are going to be the split line and how the split line is sealed and kept clean. So we'll be seeing him take this apart here just shortly. Uh, you see that the machine allows the tool block to be positioned radially anywhere within its travel, as long as it's not hitting the pipe. Tripper pin mechanisms. So we've repositioned the tripper pin mechanisms to the back of the machine, so they're internal to the body of the machine. There's multiple locations in which you can mount the tripper mechanism. So it makes for, you can either add multiple trippers, or you can reposition it in case you need to get access to it in another location. It's very simple. Just take out 2 screws and pull out the pin and reinsert it into the alternate location. It's a very simple component to replace and repair and or reposition as necessary. Here is the star wheel. The previous versions of clamshells had an external star wheel that were tripped by a pin externally, and that's where one of the pinch points were. We've moved this to the underside of the tool block, and it rides inside the body of the machine, so it's tripped internally. You don't have to worry about positioning the star wheel anymore as you move the clamshell or the tool block up and down on the clamshell. So the split lines are designed so that they have a safety locking mechanism. So once you split it in half, you see the pins protruding there. Those pins keep the split lines from, or the halves from rotating out of each other and becoming separated. We also have sealed up the split line area as best as we can to prevent foreign material from getting into the bearing areas. So it's a unique sealing mechanism, so it helps a whole bunch keeping the internals of the machine clean. So the safety thing, again, are some of the things that you don't see or don't know about until you actually experience them, are designed into the machine. The safety lock is so that you can't split the 2 halves, have it come out, and have somebody get hit by it. So it is a bypassing lock. When you put the halves back together, it allows the machine to turn. But if you split it in half, its spring-loaded mechanism locks the gear so you can't rotate it. So it takes a lot of pressure to be able to put it down so that you can rotate it. So the recirculating bearing is one of the patented features on the machine, and the L-shaped gear for the clamshell give it a good stable platform. Here you can see as he's rotating it around, the bearings that are recirculating within the races. There's 2 races on each half of the machine that recirculate the bearings in. And it's a little bit difficult to see, but there is a forward race and a back race, and they are separate from each other. But you can kind of see how the balls recirculate within the system. A very unique bearing system. It allows us to have a very stable platform and lots of points of contact so we can increase the speeds and have a lot of stability built into the machine. Fantastic bearing, patented bearing system. As you can see there, there's 2 races, a forward race and a back race. And each half has its own race system. Also has the ability to very easily be lubricated, so we've installed grease fittings into them, so you just pump grease in. There's no need to take the machine apart to service the internals. Just put a little bit of grease in and clean it up. All right. So the overview of this machine. Let's talk about the overview of the TRIMAX. TRIMAX has a lot of unique benefits. Benefits are that you no longer need to unbolt the tool modules. Just loosen it, slide it up and down. Safety, don't worry about the tool blocks sticking out because the feed system is engaged. It's a safer tripper system. There's nothing to get caught up on. Everything's internalized into the system. No obstructions. Tripper mechanisms located at the back. Comes with 1. If you would want an additional one, you could also order a second one to increase its productivity and feed rates. Star wheel is a patented positioning feed system. You don't have to worry about it being timed with any feeding mechanisms anymore. Machine has multiple accessories. It's a great platform in which it can be utilized. It has things like you can go with an electric drive motor, pneumatic drive, or hydraulic. It has multiple different sizes of tool blocks, one that can stay within the body of the machine so you can fit into a very tight confined area. We have longer tool blocks to allow more range of the machine, and then we have very extended range tool blocks so you can do 3 different sizes of pipe with that particular machine. It has alternate accessories, countable modules. It has template tracing modules. It has OD tracking modules. It has lots of different accessories. We find that this is a very stable, very precision platform to work from.